This is today's watercolour landscape painting, and again it's another one painted from a series of photographs I've took in Sutton Park last weekend. This is the photograph I've used, and really the first thing that stands out, I've turned a little stream into like a big river, which wasn't intentional. I mean, this you could jump straight over, whereas this looks a lot more grand. But the first thing to resolve with this was, what on earth do you do with all these massive trees everywhere? So I thought what I'd do, I'll sort of open a gap in the middle so you can see right through the scene. So I've really done it in two banks. You can see the distant ones I put in with a hake brush while the paper was still wet, and because they've gone all very light in tone, they look so much further away than the foreground ones put in using a thicker mix, less water, more paint. And before you know, it doesn't look, it's not as bad as it first looks. But the first thing, you can see the distant bank of trees sloping down right on the horizon, which I put in for, you can hardly see them, I've put them in that light. And then in front of those I've done these big trunks. Once they were in, it was using a stronger mix then to put in these big foreground tree trunks. Just using the side of the hake, using a burnt umber ultramarine mix, just to bang them in. And then as I was putting those in, I was doing the reflections down in the water at the same time. Another thing I did at the same time I was doing the sky was brushing in from the sides. I often do it when doing like big broad landscapes, but this time I've done it in green, in from either side, preserve the light in the middle, and it just gives the impression of foliage, just like a mass of foliage in the background. As often on these days, sun was in, very dull, so there's no shadows anywhere. So what I've done, I've took the sun as if it was somewhere around here, and then just followed that line to create the shadows. So we're sort of from there each time, so we're going like that, and then down like that, and then these ones just run across like that. And then so that way, if you've painted the foreground in a fairly light tone, the shadows just stand out better. And then at the same time as doing the shadows, I put a little bit on the back of the tree trunk here, just to sort of emphasise, get that maximum, especially here, look, see the light against the dark. Sorry, the other way around. The dark against the light coming through the trees. A few quick scrapes with the cards, create a few rocks here and there, and a little figure there in the distance walking his dog. And finally the painting is complete.